Hello, my name is Sierra Hess, and I will be going over the body ritual among the Nacirema. This article was really interesting to read about because at first I was really confused and I questioned what kind of a place would ever do something like that, and then I realized that the place I lived my entire life did things like that, such as going to the doctor, not really realizing that it could be described the way of what the medicine men in the article had done to people, and the dentists and the different ways about women, and it was just a total different way to look at American culture, the way that I lived my entire life. So describing the American culture this way would probably turn away most people into wanting to, first of all, learn about it because it's kind of scary sounding, and also wanting to experience it for themselves. And then a communication pattern in America that may sound strange to some people that I found would be kind of weird to explain would be thrifting, like when you go and reselling clothes. When people get rid of their clothing, whether it be because they don't want it anymore or someone had passed. So like buying clothes that used to belong to someone who is no longer alive is kind of a strange thing to describe and to explain to people, because that's not really the way that we think about it when we go into a resale store and we buy something. We don't really know where it came from, and that's kind of scary. But it's also cool because you never know the kind of story that that piece of clothing or the piece of furniture had. But whenever you drop your clothes off or objects at a random place, and then employees come and pick it up and they put it out for display for consumers to come in and purchase these articles of clothing or these shoes or objects like furniture. Thrifting has also been becoming a more popular thing in American culture in recent years, especially after the pandemic. Money has been more tight, so people have to find other ways to find clothing and ways to express themselves with their clothes, or however, whatever they want to do, while also being cost effective. People use thrifting to communicate to others through social media pages. A lot of people will go to thrift stores and they will promote what they found, and they can either resell it themselves to make money off of it, and that can be a great way to talk to other people. And people have even been able to make their own businesses through this, be able to go into an actual building and take the clothes that they have found and sell it to others, or recreate clothing. Another strange thing about thrifting to describe to someone would be that sometimes people will go into a thrift store and they will find different pieces of clothing and tear them apart, like cut them and then put them together to make a new outfit. And some people would just question, like, why would you rip up a perfectly good piece of clothes to make it into something new? Like, why would you want to do that? Americans are also just starting to care more about sustainability. A quote from Navigating the World of Thrifting and Reselling by Eliza Salomon says that thrifting is a push against fast fashion and towards sustainability. People are becoming more aware of the issues of fast fashion and where their clothing is coming from, so thrifting can be a great way to connect with others and to find people who have similar interests in you. I've had friends where we just literally will go to different thrift stores and like find cool things, little knickknacks and cool clothing, and just really enjoy that time together and that experience that we have with one another. Thrifting has completely changed since the pandemic also hit. Before COVID, thrifting wasn't necessarily a trendy thing to do. It was kind of just people, it was a great resource for people who needed clothes like that were cheaper. But now after the pandemic and people have become bored, and many people couldn't again afford to buy clothing anymore, or they couldn't afford to just go to the store and just buy full priced items of clothing anymore. Thrifting became a really easy way for people to do that. And again, being on social media so much throughout the pandemic, others were reselling their clothing, and it became such a great way for others to communicate with each other, to be like, wow, I really like what you did with that style, you know? And like, for example, like the Y2K becoming very popular, and like people would post about it, and you know, it became like a group where people just got along because they had a similar desire to want to pursue fashion and trends and liking what they do and with clothing. The trend of thrifting has certainly helped American culture, as again, thrifting promotes sustainability and it disproves fast fashion and unethically made clothing. Thrifting helps those in need, and it's also a great source of finding trendy clothing without having to worry about where your clothes came from, because it's sustainable. When buying used clothes, you are supporting small businesses over big corporations. And even with a big corporation like Goodwill, you know, it's big, you can donate. I mean, a lot of their stuff goes towards donations, and, you know, they always ask at the end, would you like to round up to the next dollar for a donation? You know, like they just, it's just such a great way to purchase clothing and other things. It's just more sustainable. But with Goodwill, you are still helping those who are in need, and you can also benefit your own desires to be more sustainable and to promote ethically, to more like not promote unethically made clothing. And overall, thrifting can be a great way to communicate with others and to create relationships with other people, and to it's also just a strange thing to describe to other people who might not know thrifting. And also we have the lovely, wonderful song Thrift Shop by Macklemore. Another great way to communicate. Thank you.